The Nintendo Switch is coming out on March 3rd. What are my thoughts about the Switch? What games am I excited for? Will I be getting the console? Is it too expensive? Okay, before we actually get into my personal thoughts about it, let's talk a little bit about the specs. I'm not going to dive too far into it because Nintendo was trying their best to not dive into it themselves. Apparently, they're assuming that this will be kind of like the consoles of old, which can stand on their own without you having to worry about specs and CPU speed and hard drive and stuff like that. However, what I will say about the specs is it's built on the NVIDIA Tegra chip. I'm not exactly sure if there's a chip from last year or the chip from way back that was in the original NVIDIA Shield tablet, or if this was a custom, or this is supposed to be a custom chip, but I don't know if this is actually a faster or better chip. A lot of people are saying that it's kind of like the same old chip that was released, I think it was last year, the year before last. Is it a bummer? Not really, because what we're talking about is games. And as long as it can run the games at a proper frames to where it's not dropping and it doesn't like mess up my experience, I'm not all too worried about it. Now, what I am going to be kind of worried about is the fact that the storage is only 32 gigs total. That is before the system is taking up whatever it needs. So you're going to have 25 gigs free at best. And then Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is supposedly the headliner, or at least one of the games that people are really looking forward to, is going to take over 13 gigs of that little 20 something whatever gigs is left over after the system. So you pretty much are, you're going to be required to buy a micro SD card to expand the storage, which thankfully we do have that option. That is something that Nintendo did at least foresee that they would need. I don't know why 32 gigs was the maximum amount of storage you can fit in, considering the price of the console is $299, but I'll leave that alone for now. You can go all the way up to 2 terabytes micro SD. I don't know how much a 2 terabyte micro SD will cost, but the 256 gig and things like that are much cheaper. The smaller size of micro SD cards are much cheaper in this day and age. So that's kind of not too big of a deal, but still kind of odd that 32 gigs is the actual release date size. That's actually going to release the console with. The tablet itself is going to have 2 down-firing speakers and of course a headphone jack, and of course it's going to be the place where you put in your game cards, as they're calling it, the cartridge system. It would have been nice to see a cartridge system that actually works off of like USB 3 or something like that, but meh. As overall, as far as the specs of the console is concerned, I'm kind of going to be like Nintendo on this one. I'm going to wait and see how the games run on it before I make my decision on whether the specs should have been focused on more or whether it was okay to leave it as is. Games. Now, what games am I excited for? I am definitely excited for Zelda. I am a big fan of the Zelda universe, like the whole world, the stories, all the games. I actually like to watch the playthrough of the old Zelda games on YouTube because I just really like the story. So I'm kind of excited to actually try and play that. So with that being said, yeah, I kind of want a Nintendo Switch. Right now they are sold out everywhere. I'll leave a link to a nice site that you can use to track when stores get them back in stock. And of course, leave a link to the Amazon page for the Nintendo Switch whenever the heck they get theirs in stock, because I kind of prefer to buy it from Amazon than anywhere else, but that's just a Prime user in me that wants to say that. But anywhere where it's available at the time when I'm ready to actually purchase it, I will do that. Now, will I purchase it on day one? I don't know. If you guys remember, last time Nintendo's day one for the Wii didn't really go so well. The day one performance, day one bugs, I am still a firm believer in. I'm pretty sure they're going to happen for the Switch as well. But if it doesn't, that will be amazing. It'll be the first time in years where a console has released and had absolutely no problems from day one. But of course, that is, depending on who you talk to. Some people bought their console on day one and it didn't have a single problem. So who knows? I'm just saying, I'm not all too, I don't really want to get it on day one, honestly. I kind of want to wait a bit just to make sure it's all nice and good before I jump in there. Other games I'm excited about, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Shin Megami. I watched the trailer. I loved it. I hope that's gonna be good. I'm definitely excited about that. And Fire Emblem. So those four games really, Zelda, Fire Emblem, Shin Megami, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 are dead on my radar. There most likely will be others, but from the others I've seen, I mean, they're gonna have a Street Fighter on there. Seriously, how many Street Fighters can we possibly have? I have a good friend who really loves fighting games, and he will be so stoked about it. But even at this point, it's yet another Street Fighter, Ultra Street Fighter 2. Like, come on, man. And you talking about the final challengers. Why you lying? They even have Sonic Mania 2D coming out. What the heck? No. There's somebody out there who is like a hardcore classics fan. But past things like this, or this PXP3 that I just did a little overview in my last video, I'm not too much of a classic games type of person. I will play that before I will go out and actually spend money on a brand new Sonic Mania 2D or Street Fighter 2. I'm just not in it. Maybe if more of my friends or somebody got Nintendo Switches and they're gonna play Street Fighter 2, I might be encouraged to buy it, even though it'll hurt my soul. I don't know. Maybe that's for you. It's just not for me. Let's get down to the grand question here. Is it too expensive? Now, this is a pretty good question, and I think the only reason why we are asking that is because it's Nintendo. Or for Xbox and for PlayStation or Sony, we haven't asked that question since the original versions of those consoles, since the original Xbox and well, not the original PlayStation, more like a PlayStation 2, I guess, PlayStation 3. But honestly, I really think in this case it's just because it's Nintendo, and it's also because of how the console is built. The console is pretty much a modified tablet with a very fancy dock that goes up to the screen. The dock has some outputs and stuff like that. It's a really nice overall package setup, and people are really looking at it and they're like, well, the Nvidia Shield tablet back in 2014 or 2015, whenever it was released, right now you can get it for like $199, and that's running on Nvidia Tegra. So why does this cost me $299? And I'm kind of looking at them like, you really expect them to release this for $200? So $100 for the tablet with controllers and $100 for the dock that can make the tablet scale up to 4K in this day and age. It almost seems kind of unreasonable. Maybe people think Nintendo is to games the way AMD is to the PC tech world, which is we look to AMD for a budget, and maybe people look to Nintendo for a budget. So maybe their core audience, I don't know if their core audience is the ones who are complaining. That's another thing. I mean, if the most Nintendo fans that I've seen online are pretty excited about it, price be damned. I mean, $299, they don't care. They're ready for it. Other people, maybe the people who are complaining are the people who are not really Nintendo fans. Maybe they are just general game fans who just like all consoles. Maybe they own PCs and like the game on that as well. So they're pretty skeptical on what they spend their money on, and just throwing $300 at Nintendo probably doesn't really set well in their stomach, in their soul, really. I kind of get it. I get it. If you're talking about this from a PC perspective, not even including Steam, then there's a number of reasons why you wouldn't want to spend $300 on the Nintendo Switch. In that same breath, I can say if PC is what you're going to compare this to, there's no reason to spend money on any of the other consoles, to be honest, if that's what your argument is. But if you're coming from a console person, then you probably just prefer the game lineup from Xbox and Sony, and what Nintendo Switch is offering you for your $300 without a game is just not sitting well with you. Let's talk about the fact that there is no games coming out with the Nintendo Switch. The bundles are like bundled with accessories. I don't see any actually Nintendo Switch being sold with a game for $299. There is bundles with a game that are more expensive, but not at that price point. And I don't know, you feel some kind of way about it. I think I hope they didn't come there. Such mic. I think that that's fair, considering that I do believe that the Switch itself is worth $299 if you actually want that Nintendo console experience. I think it's worth $299, but if you're already on the fence about the price with just the console, then you're definitely not gonna like the fact that it's not gonna come with any games. The Wii U came with loads of games when it was released. I don't think I saw a Wii U being sold by itself, but that might also come from that. Maybe it's because of how the Wii U was released. Maybe the reason why people don't like the fact that all of a sudden the Switch comes in at this price point with no games when the Wii U did come with games. So I don't know. For me personally, I would say that the price is fair, and I think they're right to charge that. But if you don't, then that's going to come down to a personal preference. And I'm wholeheartedly understand when you just say, hey, screw that, I'm not going to pay $299 for this. Just wait. All prices come down eventually. Eventually, there will be a sale on the Nintendo Switch. Black Friday comes around every year. Amazon's big Amazon Prime Day comes around every year. So there will always be a time where you can get this for a much cheaper price than what it is right now. All right, I'd like to thank any of you guys who actually made it this far. Comment down below if you actually made it this far in the video, and just comment switch down below if you actually made it this far in the video. Thank you for watching this, for watching this whole thing. I would like to know your thoughts though. Are you actually getting the Nintendo Switch? What games are you excited for? What problems or cons can you already foresee for the Switch before day one even hits? Do you foresee some problems that might happen with this console? Let people know down below. It's a conversation. Go ahead and jump in right there. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys do have a good one. I see you. Bye.